What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliate and scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tapping in on Friday, September 23rd, 2022. Anton has a lot of business to take care of today, including maybe a quick turnaround flight. I also got some friends coming in that I need to record some content with. And then more importantly, I also have some obligations with regard to corporate America. But the one thing is for certain and 2 things is for sure is we certainly do not miss. So thank you for tapping in with me. I am always going to make sure that I'm pouring into my bag chasers. And as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and shout out the sponsor, Tej Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Link is in the description. Thank you, Tej Henley, for continuing to hold us down. But it is a product that I certainly use. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that I'm not just pitching sponsors of the show. I am absolutely positively making sure you guys understand that this is a product that I believe in, and specifically I dedicate every single thing that I have to my people, so I would never give you anything that I would not first use myself. So shout out to Tej Henley, but more importantly, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. I got a Patreon exclusive video dropping today. Yes, it is dropping today. And then I have some content dropping as far as a new interview that I think will be very, very insightful, dropping within the next few days. Let's just say within the next few days. And then I got to fly out and shoot some more content with another content creator and another interview that I think that you guys are going to love. So I'm working. I'm taking care of business. I'm working. I'm doing what I do on a regular basis, and brought new people onto the team and doing some things that I think will continue to elevate what it is that we're doing, because every day we want to be better. Every day we want to get better. Every day we want to run a checkup. Every day we want to create better content that helps you get to the bag. All right. So make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And if you need to kick it with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to get you scheduled for a Zoom call or a personal call and make sure that you all taken care of. Also, on top of that, make sure you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. All right. You don't know what I'm going to post where, but I am going to continue to be active on these different platforms to ensure that you guys get whatever it is that you need in order to be successful. All right. So shout out to my bag chasers. Shout out to everybody that continue to tap in with me. Shout out to those that continue to be successful and great. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to rock with me. Now, more importantly, I think that we should straight up get straight to what it is that we love. I dropped a video yesterday, and the video specifically was highlighting how I am no longer going to be highlighting the money. And when I say highlighting the money, I'm talking about me personally as far as showing the money. And let me tell you why that's important. Initially, I felt it was necessary, and especially considering what we've dealt with as communities. And I'm not just talking about the Black community, I'm talking about communities as a whole. With what we've dealt with as a community, um, there's too many people that was finessing you. You got these PPP loan kings. You got a lot of people that don't have your best interests at heart, and just leadership in a general sense, right? And I think that I don't necessarily consider myself like the king of kings as far as leadership, right? But we have a responsibility as content creators, as people with visible platforms, as people with a following, so to speak, to be responsible for what it is that we tell people. And I believe in minding your business. And minding your business is a concept in which people need, if it's good enough for me to tell people to do, then I should be able to show the results also, right? Like I should be doing it first. I should show you the results from it. And then that is where the responsibility lies as far as us as individuals and content creators. And it's not just about getting a following. It's not just about Instagram. It's not just about YouTube. It's not just about TikTok or all these other platforms. It's about us also having a level of responsibility that comes along with being leaders. And I think that one of the reasons why I always say that Black culture is trash, or the things that we celebrate most about it, in which we are going to get into that today as far as hip hop, DJ Akademiks, LL Cool J, because it all comes back to the money. But one of the reasons why I always say that is that the people that we celebrate the most are often the worst for us. And sometimes it's all smoke and mirrors, and it's not even hidden well, right? And you can see that with your local rappers. A lot of these dudes, to be honest with you, are broke. And I'm not talking about obviously the big ones. I'm not talking about the Jay-Z's. I'm not talking about Dr. Dre's. I'm not even talking about the Drakes. I'm talking about a lot of these local dudes and these local rappers. They was doing verses for $250 and $500 a piece, which is nothing wrong with that, right? But a lot of them have largely sold you on this idea that they doing more than they really is, right? And so, like, there was even a interview, and I think it was Moneybag Yo with Angie Martinez. And he was basically saying, yo, I was wearing all fake jewelry because I had to fake it until I make it. And I'm like, yo, what are we doing, right? A lot of these pastors and these churches, and it's more than just the money. It's just what it is that you represent. A lot of these pastors and these churches and things like that, right? How can you preach the word of God when you're not living the word of God? And again, I don't designate myself as anything. So I don't feel as though I have a responsibility to do anything other than give you my life experience. And that's the basis and the foundation behind what it is that I do. And so a lot of what you've seen from me, especially in recent years, but more importantly, for the entirety of what it is that I've been doing on YouTube, is showing you what my life is like. I've shown you my life. I've given you my life as far as, you know, what it's like to be married and the losses and the wins and building different businesses and exploration and the problems and the issues that came along with living a certain type of lifestyle and all of that other type of stuff. But more importantly, what the money looks like, right? And, you know, I understand that even a lot of times for an extended period of time, not only is it important to show you, right? But you got to put the medicine in the candy also, right? So it was a multi-level approach, and that not only was I going to substantiate who I was, not only by showing you and giving you the good information, because I don't want you to just take information from anybody, but me showing my lifestyle and living my life that way for the past, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years or whatever like that. I've done what I needed to do as far as visibility. I don't believe that I have to do anything more as far as showing what it is that I have in order to substantiate what it is that I do. Right? You've seen my bank accounts. For those of you that's in the Patreon, y'all have seen my W-2s. Y'all have seen my brokerage accounts. I've shown people at live meetups. Shout out to my people that just was in Detroit. We got a new thing coming over in Miami for New Year's. But I've shown people my rental properties. I've shown them my businesses. I've shown y'all my bank accounts. I've shown y'all my brokerage accounts. I've shown y'all a lot of different things, right? I don't believe that I need to do that anymore. I think that that era of my life is over. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go and sell my watches or get rid of my cars and stuff like that. But what it does mean is that I don't need to lead with that. All I have to do is just live my life. Now, you're going to see it, and it is what it is. But me giving you the game, I think that majority of you are past needing to see that from me in order to be able to take the insight and information that I'm giving you. All right. And it's not safe. It's not safe. I've thought long and hard about the lifestyle that I lived, and I've even considered getting rid of a lot of what I have just to make sure that my family, and it's not even about me, right? It's about the people that I surround myself with, that my family is safe. And I'm tired of evaluating the possibility of having to change my address every couple years and things like that just to make sure that I'm not getting caught up in none of this foolishness or nonsense. That's crazy. Nobody should have to live like that. So, I'm going to do the thing that I think is mature and evolutionary as far as continuing to move the needle forward, continuing to create that great content. And then I'm just going to live my life, right? Like, I'm going to go and I'm going to enjoy the games, and I'm going to be at the floor, on the floor seats, at the arenas and stuff like that. And I'm going to buy my cars when I feel like I want to have a new car or whatever like that. But I don't believe that I have to show that or highlight it. You'll see how I live my life just based off of how I pour into you. And I think that it was necessary at the time, but I think that it's also necessary to grow because my audience is growing with me. And I think that they deserve, a better view, or to see the maturity and the growth and what it is that I'm doing, because that's my brand. My brand is continue to evolve, but just bring you along with me. And I don't think that I have to lead with that or show that in order to make sure that you guys are getting everything that you need in order to be successful. So I just wanted to touch on that really quickly and give y'all a little bit of clarification of why I'm moving the way I'm moving. It's multi-level, right? It's safety issues, it's maturity, it's evolution, and it's just focusing more on continuing to, or evaluating how I can continue to pour into you guys effectively. So you're gonna see it. Like, I don't have to talk about it as much. Sometimes I might talk my talk because you know how I do it. But more importantly, I don't think it's necessary for me to throw it in your face as much. A lot of it was like, it was funny to me. It's kind of like a form of trolling. It's like trolling the trolls, right? But I don't think that that's necessary in order for us to continue to do what we do and build. So I appreciate you guys for continuing to give me your insight, because I listen to you and I pay attention to what you guys say. And I think that it's important for me to continue to grow because you guys pour into me with your feedback just as much as I pour into you with my information. All right. So make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on your notifications. And again, link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And we're going to continue to do the work. We're going to continue to run it up. We're going to continue to be bag chasers. Bag chasing meaning becoming the best version of ourselves, understanding that the money, the marriage, the success, everything that comes along with it. All right. So let's revisit a conversation that we had yesterday, because a lot of people wasn't covering it when I was covering it, but it is necessary for us to cover it again since the official suspension has been announced. Now, there are some rumors, so I do want to address that aspect of it. There are some rumors that came out about the head coach, or the former head coach of the Boston Celtics, and they've promoted an interim assistant that was his assistant. And it's sad, honestly. It's really sad. Some of the rumors that I'm hearing, and I was following this story from several different sources and things like that, and I know that those that are responsible as far as responsible journalism is being very careful and tiptoeing about what it is that they're releasing as far as what it is that they're hearing. Now, what I'm hearing is, and again, and this is a rumor and this is alleged, is that the person that they was having a relationship with might have been a lot closer to the owner than we may know. I don't know if it's the owner's wife. I have no clue. But there are a lot of people, including Stephen A. Smith, that's caping for this guy, right? And I'm an equal accountability holder. I'm an equal accountability smoke partner, right? I don't care about who you are, what your color is, and I don't align my principles and things that I do based off of anything other than character, right? Or what I see you do. And the rumors are that the guy has maybe got caught up a little bit deeper than just the surface level of the story of him messing with a staffer, right? So I'm gonna be watching this story to see how it unfolds and see what's happening. But more importantly, the majority of the people, especially the women, have no interest in sports whatsoever. It's especially with regard to this unknown, unnamed, we don't really even know his name, head coach, right? We don't even know how to pronounce his name. Imi Umu. I just call him Udoka. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all of my Nigerians. But I was seeing women cover this story, and they was covering it from the perspective of, oh no, he cheated on Nia Long and all of this other type of stuff and so on and so forth. And I get it, right? I get it. Now Nia Long is posting these cryptic stories and messages, and all of a sudden y'all wasn't even checking for Nia Long, because who knows when the last time she actually dropped a movie. I'll know what the sentiment of Nia Long is if I start seeing her drop movies and stuff like that. But now all of a sudden y'all want to start posting and following Nia Long as though y'all was really checking for her in the first place. And that is hilarious to me, because I see how women operate, and women largely are attracted to gossip. They are attracted to the most toxic part of the story. And anytime that they can get a leg up on men, or anytime that, because people cheat all the time. Hold on, let's just be real, okay? Let's just be honest here. Women actually cheat more than men. This is a fact. This is not something that I have to assume. Well, I guess I am assuming, because we don't have evidence of everybody that's cheated, especially the ones that got away. But women have largely been believed, and everybody understand, and even women themselves say a lot of times that, yeah, we do cheat more than men. Women actually cheat more than men, right? It's just that those that hold the positions of power more are caught up more, right? Since men are the more visible ones, especially as far, because like if somebody cheated in the WNBA, nobody would care. Nobody would care if Sun Tzu or Lisa jump shot, that's trash, and nobody actually watches and cares about the WNBA. It was a story about the WNBA. I'm sorry. It was a story about the WNBA as far as the players choosing not to go over to Russia to play for, whatever money that Russia was. I said, man, I'm not doing that story. Nobody care about these bull daggers. No, let me stop. Don't nobody care about these chicks. You know what I'm saying? It's such a bad product that those chicks cheat all the time, and they be getting caught up in junk. And I see the little stories fly back and forth, and I'll be like, who? Ain't nobody checking for them. Have they? What? Nobody cares, right? And so it seems as though men are the ones that are doing some of the most egregious things. But more importantly, it's just that we have more visible positions, and there's more of us that have to take on roles of responsibility as far as being good role models. And so as a result, when you see stories come out, it's almost like, oh no, he's such a bad guy. No, actually, there's more Jadas out here than you think. There are women every single day that is getting bust down, tossed over, and then passed around to the homies than you would think. It's a ton of them. Women, let me let me just say it like this. And according to my homie, women are absolute savages. So listen, I understand that Nia Long may be going through something or whatever, so on and so forth. But Nia, please don't listen to any of these hussies out here telling you to leave your man, because you need to stick around. You need to stay. You don't want to fumble the bag at 50 plus, trying to be out here for the streets like Robin Thicke's ex-chick. Has anybody heard from Robin Thicke's ex-chick? Remember he was talking to a black girl or something like that, and she decided to leave him or something like that? Nobody has heard from this chick ever since. Women largely become worth less than, now I didn't say worthless, right? I don't want y'all to, not a one word sentence, worth space less / struggle bus more out here in these streets when they walk away from a good situation simply because a guy exercises options. No, that's just a jokey joke. That's a jokey joke. When a guy makes a little bit of a mistake because he took advantage of the opportunity that was in front of him, it's just a mistake. He can come back from that. I told y'all, just because whoever it was did a little bit of, they did a little bit of spitting, a little bit of sucking. Listen, that's not a big deal. We walking away from that. You know what I'm saying? What's gone is gone, and we're gonna forgive, and we're gonna put that under the bridge. Girl, don't you lose your man, because it's a lot of people, a lot of women that's looking to get in the presence of a man that's winning. This guy is going to go on to be successful, and it's going to be water under the bridge, and nobody is ever going to remember this situation, right? Real talk. He's going to be fine. Of course, he's a story at the moment, but as soon as another story comes upon us, like, it is going to be what it is. Some other team, the New York Knicks or somebody, will snatch him up in a heartbeat. He will have no problem getting another job and winning. Girl, he will be fine. Get over your emotions. Get over your feelings. Women cheat all the time. And so most times men never find out, because women are the worst cheaters. I mean, it's you can't say the worst, because it's almost like an oxymoron, because they're not getting caught, so they're good at cheating, but it's the worst because it's like somebody was I don't even want to get into it. But my point is that he will be fine. Stay with your man. Don't get caught up in these streets. Get rid of your Instagram and all of this other type of stuff, and stop watching what other people are saying about you. It's not necessary. And contrary to popular belief, a lot of celebrities actually do. They watch what everybody is saying about them in order to continue to feel how they feel, and they super sensitive. I've talked to several of them, and they all be watching the comments and seeing what people are saying about them and getting all emotional and butthurt about it. Get up out of that. That's not a good look for you, baby girl. You'll be fine. Anyways, let's get into the meat and potatoes. So this came across my desk, and I seen y'all talk about it in the comments yesterday. And then more importantly, somebody sent me the audio of it. And not only did they send me the audio of DJ Akademiks as far as what he said, but they also sent me the audio of LL Cool J's response. And then even Russell Simmons. So for those of you, I need to cut my mustache a little bit more. For those of you that are familiar with who is who, let me break it down. DJ Akademiks is a YouTuber. I'm not sure that he's ever spent a record in his life. I'm not sure that DJ Akademiks has actually ever played a record ever in his life, right? But he get into the bag, and he's successful, and he's a new age content creator that has figured out a way to captivate an audience and build his following, and he's very, very good at what it is that he does. I personally am on the fence about DJ Akademiks simply because whoever it is that's running one of his pages, and I'm not even going to lay it at his feet, whoever it is that's running one of his pages keeps stealing content, trying to copyright it and trying to get my bag, but we're not going to let that happen. So maybe that's just an honest mistake. Whoever it is that's running that King Akademiks channel, they need to get their ducks in a row. But is he good at what he do? Absolutely. He has a way of being able to communicate, especially to an audience of people that, well, let me leave that out of it. He has a way of being able to communicate effectively in which he's built up a following. A lot of people blame this whole war in Chirac and him exploiting and all of that and capitalizing. Yo, he's absolutely dodged all of those bullets, and more importantly, he's outlasted a lot of the people that's hated on him, especially from a visible perspective, especially Desus and Mero. A whole nother conversation. But he said some stuff about hip hop, right? And one of the reasons why I was on the fence about even talking about this in the first place is because first it always has to come back to the money. Like, I'm not even interested in talking about it unless it's culture, trash, something where somebody fumbling the bag, adding value into people's life, and it always got to come back to the money because it's what we do here. It's the Millionaire Morning Show. But it did come back to the money because the thing that he said in the argument that he was somewhat substantiating was, yo, a lot of these old heads are broke. A lot of these old heads that were a part of the early hip hop and the pioneers and stuff like that. And I'm gonna play the audio and I'm gonna let you hear it for yourself. But he was basically saying a lot of these dudes is broke. And then obviously we all know who LL Cool J is, movie star, got destroyed by cannabis in my opinion, but battle rapper, rapper itself, ladies man, seems to be ageless. I'm not sure if he's ever taken Botox or whatever. Businessman, bag chaser, legend, all of that stuff, right? And then obviously we know who Russell Simmons is, but Russell Simmons, I'm almost like, yo, wasn't you on a run from a case from yoga teachers accusing you of something like that? But Russell Simmons has made a lot of money from hip hop also, and who's to say if he's even he very well may be a billionaire also, but he's not showing the money. But he was married to Kimora Lee Simmons, or Kimora Lee Simmons was married to him. And this is another example of women no longer becoming relevant after they leave the person that they're supposed to be with, because after him and Baby Fat, Kimora Lee Simmons is to be seen or heard from. Probably out enjoying her life, but certainly not relevant anymore. But Russell Simmons and a lot of other people had some things to say. But I thought that these three, just getting the audio from these three would be sufficient enough for us to be able to dive into. So I'm reserving my thoughts until I hear it. But I'm not sure if Akademiks was wrong or right. Now, I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you think about what's being said. And do he have an argument as to whether or not these dusty old heads, in his words, he called them dusty. I think these dudes be stealing my vernacular. And y'all can't keep saying, well, Anton, everybody, you act like you made up the word dusty, or you act like you made up the word bag chase, or you act like you made up the word, being the best virgin. Yo, man, listen, y'all not going to keep telling me that just because I didn't invent the word in a dictionary, that me saying certain words, because, man, I'm telling you, man, a lot of these people was not doing what they was doing before. Man, I'm positive. I'm 1,000% positive. Maybe not that word in particular, but I'm 1,000% positive that a lot of these dudes be listening to what, a lot of these younger or not younger or smaller content creators are saying, and they be taking our what it is that we got going on, and they be utilizing it for themselves, and then they'll popularize it. Next thing you know, you think that Drake invented reggaeton. And it's like, come on, man. Pay homage. Anyways, let's get into it. I want to play the audio, and we're going to break it down of how it comes back to the money, and then I want to know y'all opinion also. So let's get to it, y'all.
That's what it is. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Them old rappers, man, them niggas, bro, have you seen any of these old rappers who be like, yo, they're the foundation of hip-hop, really living good? Them niggas be looking really dusty. I kid you not. And none of y'all try to come for me because I don't fuck with y'all niggas either. So I'm just tell y'all the truth. Y'all be looking like, every time there be like an old nigga talking about hip hop, you be like, yo, bro, you sure you invented this? Because everybody else living better than you.
So I think this is a soundbite, and I'm not sure exactly how long the clip is, but I think that a lot of people easily get offended when you start bringing money into the conversation if you're not helping them get none. You know what I'm saying? And so Act saying this doesn't mean that it's not necessarily true, right? But I think the context behind it could be taken or misconstrued. But more importantly, is it true or is it not? There are a lot of older rappers, and that's in any industry, right? The people of yesteryear that was playing basketball in the 70s and the 80s made nowhere near as much as the people today. Should they still be honored? Relatively. It depends on whether or not you think that rap culture is actually contributing to the demise of our communities. Entirely different conversation. But my point is that having money doesn't necessarily take away your legendary status. But at the same time, what good is it to be a legend if you can't actually enjoy the fruits that come along with what it is that you put together? And so I'm on the fence on both sides, but I know LL has a completely different take on it. So we're going to play LL, and then we're going to go from there.
You guys might want to record this. Make sure you're recording this or screen recording it or something so that you guys get it. I don't go live a lot. I haven't really been going live since, the pandemic, but this is something that came to my attention. It came to my attention that a DJ, and I'm not going to say any names because I don't think it's necessary. A DJ.
Why do people say I'm not going to say any names, but then they say so many different things that actually point the finger directly to the person? It's like, yo, let's just call a spade, and let's just say it exactly for what it is. Like, just we know you're talking about DJ Akademiks, which I don't even know why he's called DJ Akademiks, because that's like a oxymoron. But we know that you're talking about Akademiks. I'm just calling him Ak. So let's just get straight to it. Wait, I'm not going to say no names. This is not a rap song. You don't have to sneak this. Like, just call it for what it is.
Basically said that, you know, a lot of the pioneers in hip hop are, you know, they're dusty, or how can they be the person that, you know, invented hip hop if, you know, they don't have a lot of money.
And see, this is how it's easy to get a narrative misconstrued, because it's not that. I'll break down his message shortly, because I did hear a little bit of what he had to say. But that's not what Axe said. He didn't say, how can they be the inventors if they don't have a lot of money? He said that, yo, it's hard to see a lot of these people, you know what I'm saying, operating or them being a legends when you actually run into them. And it's like, dang, homie, back then you was the man, homie. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they didn't understand things from a business perspective or whatever, so on and so forth. But it's difficult to see a lot of these dudes, because you would think that they would actually in some way, shape, or form would have been able to capitalize off of their visibility at that time, or marketing or whatever. Or maybe a lot of these dudes just fumbled the bag and they did make a decent amount of money and they didn't make the correct investments that came along with that visibility or getting that show money or whatever it was that they was doing at the time. But the words are being misconstrued. If we just want to be real about it, don't mean that what Aka said is not true. And don't mean that what LL is about to say is not true. But to lead with this is a disingenuous way to go about doing it. And we understand that LL may be a little bit butthurt because this is the industry that he's in. And he's also largely considered a pioneer. So he probably sees a lot of his peers suffering as a result of it. But that's not what Axe said. That's not what he said. But that's just my opinion.
Or if they don't look or represent like they have a lot of dough, right? Let me explain something to you and say this for you guys. Don't confuse someone's ability to develop a business model. Don't conflate. In other words, don't think just because somebody knows how to get money or fails to get money that they didn't make a contribution to the culture. No one discusses Miles Davis's bank account.
Correct. Facts.
We don't talk about John Coltrane's bank account.
Correct. Facts.
We don't talk about a lot of even rock musicians, a lot of them. We don't talk about their bank accounts. A lot of great country artists, we don't talk about their bank accounts.
We actually do on the low, though. And see, this is the problem, because people will listen to it and hear LL and be like, yeah, facts, whatever, so on and so forth. Nah, we don't talk about John Coltrane's bank account. We don't talk about Miles Davis' bank account. We don't. But we certainly talk about Elvis's bank account. And we certainly talk about Aerosmith's bank account. And we certainly talk about Bruce Springsteen's bank account and how much he making off his catalog. And we definitely talk about the Beatles and how much of they bags that they getting. And we certainly talk about country stars' bank account. They are in the conversation, and we absolutely, positively talk about their bank accounts. And see, this is why I am who I am, because I'm able to be objective enough to call BS on what it is. I'm not here to be in an echo chamber, but we certainly break down how much everybody else is making. It's just, the problem is that there are a lot of rappers that lead with the money in order to be able to sell you on an image, because their image is just as important as the music that they putting out. And that's why we talk about their bank accounts. It has nothing to do with whether or not it's relevant to the culture and all of this other type of stuff. So we're not going to remove that as a part of the conversation when rappers largely, since the beginning of time, talked about how much money they had, and they was wearing the Dookie ropes and the gold chain and the Adidas and all of that. And Run DMC was capitalizing off of Adidas without even understanding the marketing power that they had. But let's be clear. We have always talked about the money. We introduced that into the part of the conversation. Rockers don't say how much money they making inside of their songs and their lyrics. Country singers don't talk about how much they making inside of their lyrics. The reason why we don't do that with John Coltrane and Miles Davis is because they didn't introduce that as a part of their lyrics. However, we still be pocket watching as a community and as a society as far as how much Taylor Swift is getting, how much all of these country singers are getting, all of that. But we are the ones that introduced that as a part of the conversation as far as the culture of rappers and in that community. And so as a result of it, you can't absolve yourself from it as a part of the conversation. And see, Act just need another person that's on his team that can substantiate their arguments a little bit more effectively, because it does not mean that LL does not have some points and that he is not correct. But we gonna break this down and we gonna look at the context of it in its entirety, and we're not gonna separate or take out of it what we want to take out of it in order to just substantiate our arguments. That's disingenuous, because him included, because we've always added money as a part of what it is that we are, or to make ourselves more marketable, you can't then remove yourself from that conversation, because that would be like somebody saying, yo, me coming through and saying, hey, why you sitting there comparing me to other YouTubers as far as how much money I make? No, that's valid, because I talk about how much money I got. I can't absolve myself from that conversation. It's a fair argument, because that's what we talk about. That's what we talk about. So, I think that this is a disingenuous argument from his first 2 points, and that it's some truth in it, but it's a white lie, because then you remove some parts of it in order to be able to substantiate your claim and your argument. That's crazy to me.
This idea that you have to have money or else you don't have any value is a bad idea, and it's kind of like, it's a misinformed way of looking at the world and the culture.
Not if that's what you selling.
There are artists out here.
Not if that's what you selling.
Let me say this.
Nope.
First of all, let's talk about like young artists, right?
That's what you selling.
Who I love. I love the young artists. Let's be clear. I'm very much a guy who embraces the young artists. I believe in every generation.
Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm.
Let me say this to you, though. Today, you could come up with your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, your 20-year plan. Mm-hmm. You can go find a manager. You can find an accountant. You could find somebody that means something to you, to help you. You could find a team to help your career go to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
When hip-hop first started, there were no managers.
Mm-hmm.
There were no accountants that believed in it.
Mm-hmm.
Record companies didn't even believe in it. Nobody believed in it. How can you make a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan on something that doesn't even exist yet?
Which is why we give them credit, but then at the same time, we're not going to remove from the conversation how relevant, money has become as a part of hip hop. So he's right? This is not to say that LL is wrong, but it's also to add some more color into the page, because we understand that, right? It's just like, again, it's like basketball. It's like NBA basketball. These players are making an exceptional amount of money. And I think that the argument that LL is saying is, don't disrespect the OGs. Is it disrespectful to call a spade, though? If I see you in the streets, and it doesn't mean that I don't have respect for what it is that you've done, but if I see you in the streets, and largely what we lead with, especially in today's society, is A, what have you done for me lately? And then B, dang, homie, in high school, you was the man, homie. If that's what we lead with, and I understand what LL is saying. He says, listen, on a human level, we got to love and respect the pioneers and the people that has provided us with an opportunity to eat. You should never, as a basketball player, go and disrespect Wilt Chamberlain or Elgin Baylor or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Jerry West or Dr. J and all of the players and the plumbers that was out there putting up bad shots on the basketball court that came before you. Or it's another aspect to that argument. Did they do it trying to create a lane for you, or was they just capitalizing off of what it was that they was doing at the time? Because at the time that they was winning, they was winning. At the time that they was winning, they were winning. So I kind of see it from both sides, but then at the same time, I think that it's, let's just continue to play the video.
People have never even heard of. So just because a couple of these guys and girls and people out here made songs and made music and made contributions to this culture, or even dancers danced and made these contributions to culture, just because they didn't get rich, just because they weren't able to pile up millions or billions of dollars, does not mean that they didn't make a contribution to this culture.
And he is 110% right. I'll give him 120. He's 100%, 120% right. Did DJ Akademiks say that they didn't make a contribution to the culture? Did DJ Akademiks say that they didn't make a contribution to the culture? That was not what he was saying and what his argument is. And it's silly to try to hold him accountable for what you're passionate about when that's not what he said. Two things can be true at the same time. DJ Akademiks, and y'all know, I am willing to hold anybody accountable, right? LL is not attacking an argument. He's just passionate about what it is that he's talking about. LL is not attacking DJ Akademiks' argument, but DJ Akademiks is the one that's catching the bullets right now. And it's unfortunate because objectively, this is not what he said. He did not say that they should not be celebrated or they didn't make a contribution to the culture. He said, when I see them, it's sad because a lot of these dudes be looking dusty, and they do. They absolutely, positively do. And they be looking tired. And a lot of these dudes did not contribute to the culture. Let me say that also. That's an unpopular opinion. A lot of these dudes contributed to the demise of the black community. That's the part. See, if we want to go off script and we want to add in all of the context in order to be able to substantiate their arguments, let's talk about it in its entirety. A lot of these dudes actually contributed to the demise of the culture. Y'all taught us how to look at women. Wrong. Y'all taught us how to look at money. Wrong. You taught us how to poison our communities and put dope in it. Yes, you did. You taught us how to cook up. If it wasn't for rap music, a lot of us wouldn't even know how to roll up. We wouldn't know how to roll up, cook up. We wouldn't know how to turn soft into hard. We wouldn't have to know how to do none of that. We wouldn't be fumbling the bag. We wouldn't know nothing about these strippers. We wouldn't know about strip culture. A lot of these songs got popping off inside of the strip club. Now, that's not what the early pioneers was doing. There was a hip hop, a hibbit to the hip hop, and you don't stop a rockin' to the bang bang boogie. They was doing all of that, right? But soon after, you got NWA, you got LL Cool J, right? You quickly navigated from Curtis Blow, and they also taught us how to destroy our communities by graffiti tagging and all that. You quickly navigated from Curtis Blow into NWA, and then New York they just went all the way to the left because let me stop because one thing that I do know, I know hip hop, I know basketball, I know hip hop, I know money.
That does not mean that they didn't do something. They created an industry that we all ate off of.
Correct.
They created an industry that you eat off of.
Correct.
When you go out there and you go monetize your brand, when you go get your whatever and do what you got to do to build your career, when you go out there and negotiate your deals and negotiate your checks and talk tough, guess what? That money, that bread, that food that you eating was created by those same people that you disrespecting.
Now, again, I don't think that Ak was trying to be disrespectful. Some people can take it as disrespect because as far as braggadocious and as thick-skinned as we supposed to be, for some reason, we get easily offended when somebody call out a fallacy within this community, which is why I think that rap culture, black culture, all of that stuff is trash. Am I influenced by it? Absolutely. Is that the one contributing factor to whether or not somebody can negotiate their deal? Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. No way, no how. A lot of the inspiration that we take from all different sources and factors. It's not the one end all be all, but it is a contributing factor to whether or not DJ Akademiks is successful. Absolutely. Two things can be true at the same time. But I understand LL's passion, and he's telling a lot of truth in what it is that he's saying. I'm just not sure it's all hitting directly at DJ Akademiks in order to try to substantiate his argument.
That industry was created by them same people that you call in, you know, foul words, foul language. The people that you're referring to. So my thing is this. It's always good. It's always good to get money.
Hey, LL got turned up quick, didn't he? Voice is amplified. He went from, yo, listen, I ain't even been live since the pandemic. Y'all know I don't go live. So make sure y'all record this too. Now, all of these, he turned up times 10, didn't he?
It's always important. It's important. It's important to get money. I agree. I'm all about getting paper. I've been talking about it my whole career. But don't ever.
He just admitted it. I'm all about getting paper. I've been talking about it my whole career. This is the way that we were taught to substantiate whether or not somebody was winning. As a part of the argument, as a part of battle rap, as a part of whether or not we put somebody on Mount Rushmore of hip hop and things like that, we don't just go just based off of how great your lyrics are. As a matter of fact, we base it off of impact. And impact is not just only the lyrics or what it is that you spit, because if that was the case, then the most lyrical miracle rappers would have been the most successful ones, but they weren't. They weren't. The ones that were most successful was the ones that was able to tap into what you think is great about hip hop, which is the lifestyle. And the lifestyle was also including money and how you live it, which is one of the reasons why LL was talking about it in his whole career. And two things can be true at the same time. You can show appreciation to the people that came before you, but then at the same time, we're not gonna leave that out of the argument. Because part of the reasons, listen, when we talk about the Mount Rushmore, a part of it is the fact that certain ones became billionaires or ones was able to monetize and have the impact. And we don't leave out of the conversation as far as the GOATs in hip hop, sales. Yo, this one went dime in the first week and all of this other type of stuff. The money matters. For people to act like the money don't matter when we're trying to substantiate one of the greatest of all time, it's crazy to me. That is absolutely insane. And again, I think that LL is correct, but it's a disingenuous argument because it speak with forked tongue, and you can't remove that as a part of that conversation. Man, maybe I should start interviewing rappers, because I don't think that a lot of these rappers can stand up in front of somebody that don't care nothing about their accomplishments as far as not being starstruck, but having a real conversation with them about what they stand for and what life is really about. Being able to substantiate their arguments in front of somebody that don't care nothing about what they did. Now, I can acknowledge what you did, but you're still a human to me. So let's just continue to hear what he got to say.
Confuse being rich with making a contribution to our culture. Don't ever play yourself like that again. Because trust me, you playing yourself. Because without these dudes and these girls who started this hip hop culture, a lot of the guys that's out there talking tough, you wouldn't even have a career.
Now, how do we know that? How do we know that? How do we know that? We don't know what we don't know. We don't know if somebody would have came 10 years, if that person had never been born. We don't know if somebody a year later or 10 years later would have came and invented that same thing. We don't know what we don't know. Can we be appreciative of the people that set the foundation before us? Absolutely.
We'd be on the corner with a beer talking about what's the next move we gonna make. So I would say, approach this game with humility and be glad and be thankful that these pioneers, slave mentality. Be glad that these pioneers helped create this culture.
Approach it with humility, but that's not how you got rich, L. That's not how you got rich. You can be humble in your success, but in your rise to the top, similar to what DJ Akademiks is doing right now, he's moving in confidence, not arrogance, confidence. And again, you talking about a person that I even have some issues with DJ Akademiks sometimes, but I'm objective enough to be real. In LL's ascent, he was very braggadocious. He was very matter of fact. He was very much going after people, and he didn't operate in humility. His ascent to the top was him talking about how great he was and comparing himself against his peers to destroy them. Now you want somebody else to operate in humility after your ascent was based in operating in confidence and arrogance. What are we talking about here, man? Some of these OGs forget how they got to where they became. Some of these guys forget that their ascent into greatness was largely on the horse of arrogance, confidence, and talking they talk. Now they want you at the top of your ascent as you continue to ascend in greatness. And I'm talking specifically about DJ Akademiks. Akademiks is winning on every level. And so because Akademiks talk his talk, for some reason, we got to make you feel better because we doing the same thing that you laid the blueprint for in order for us to be successful. People want to hear you talk your talk. I called it the Floyd Mayweather effect. They want to hear you talk your talk. They want to be immersed in that. They do. They want the controversy. They want the battles. They want to see who the greatest. They want you to down your opponent and they want you to destroy their career. On your ascent to the top, LL was not operating in humility as far as what people were buying his music for. Battle rap existed as a part of the culture. And you know what battle rap is? It's destroying your opponent, bigging yourself up by tearing them down in order to make sure that you tell them who's superior and what it is that you're doing. Now, here's the question that you got to ask yourself. What other genre of music do you do this in? Because he used rock as an example. He used blues, R&B, all of this other type of stuff. This is the only genre of music where this really, really takes place in. You're rewarded for operating in your confidence and in your arrogance and talking your talk. And now you saying, but operate in humility. Now, two things can be true at the same time. You can show respect to the OGs and the pioneers, but then at the same time, I see it as hypocritical when the wave that you rode in order to be successful was largely based off of the very thing that you scold and DJ Akademiks for. It is hypocritical. And now that you are chilling and you at the top of the food chain, you saying have some respect and some humility. What? What are you talking about? Listen, I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. So I need y'all to comment. But these dudes got rich off of that very same thing. They got rich off of that very same thing. And again, DJ Akademiks didn't say that they didn't contribute to the culture. He said when he see them, they be looking a little dusty.
And let's show them love. Let's elevate them.
Maybe
let's
my takes is a
celebrate
little
them.
different.
That's why I started Rock the Bells.
Shout out to
you.
you.
That's why I started this movement. So I wouldn't have to listen to foolish rhetoric about people that changed the world. These people changed the entire world. The whole planet runs.
Sometimes for the worse. Do we also want to give them credit for the toxicity that's in the community? Now, he's saying they changed the world, right? And I agree. And he's also saying that they should be acknowledged as pioneers. And I agree. But then should they also take responsibility for what it has evolved into? Because if you want to give them all of the credit, do you also give them a lot of the credit for the issues that we face in the black community? And that I believe that one of the worst things that ever happened to the black community is rap culture. Rap culture is the thing that we celebrate the most. That's one of the worst things for us. Do they also get the credit for all of the trash that we producing, or do we absolve them from that? Because I just want to make sure that we paint this picture in its entirety. Or is it just that we love rap so much that we're unable to be objective when we having these conversations? Huh? Because it's addictive. Music is addictive. I am very much affected by the music that I listen to. And do I like rap music? Absolutely. It is one of my vices. Listen, I have no problem whatsoever being absolutely transparent about the things that I listen to and the things that I struggle with and my successes and so on and so forth. But do we also lay at the feet, since we want to give them so much credit, which we should we also lay at the feet the pioneers of the toxicity of what rap culture has devolved into since you created it? Or do we only give them the credit and the praise because we feel sorry for the fact that they wasn't able to monetize in the same way that we have? If they created something, never mind. Let's continue.
On hip hop culture right now. The whole planet.
When y'all get up there and y'all spit y'all lyrics and T.I. say, what you know about that? What you know about that? Huh? Every time Snoop get on the stage and he say, and excuse me for my language, but I'm only quoting, I'm not actually cursing. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts and suck the dick. When every time Snoop get paid on Rock the Bells for performing that song, do we also lay at the feet how many people he've taught to look at women a specific type of way in our community? I'm curious. When we see these modern women, the Meg Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's that is admitted to trying to break so hard into this culture, and then also making sure that she drug dudes. When we listen to Lil' Kim's lyrics about how it is that she was moving in these streets and what it was that she would do with a Coke can, huh? When we listen to the City Girls, and Glorilla, the newest sensation that we're celebrating, when we listen to these people get paid and continue to kill the community, do we lay that at the feet of the pioneers also? Because it ain't just about getting money. It's also about taking responsibility and ownership about everything that it means and that it entails. Should we also be thankful that it devolved into that also? Because I read LL's book. They don't want me to talk like this. They don't want me to talk like this because then they're going to be like, Anton is crazy. No, I'm not crazy, man. I just know how to look at things objectively. And just because you're passionate about it don't necessarily mean that I have to agree with what you're saying. And just because you're popular and you mean something and you click your face up real hard don't mean that I have to agree with what you're saying. I don't agree with everything that you're saying. You are saying some things that are absolutely true. 100%. But I'm talking about the rest of the conversation that you're leaving out of it in order to substantiate your point.
Everything you could think of is all about hip hop.
Everything you can think of is all about hip hop, including the bad too, right? Should we also hold y'all accountable for the de-evolution of what's going on in our neighborhoods and the poison in our communities, including the minds of our women and our young boys? Should we also lay that at the feet of the founders? We're going to get into it today. We're going to get into it today.
People out there that started this thing, and I think that they deserve to be honored and respected.
Gotcha.
I'm going to leave it right there.
Cool.
I'm not going to say no names. I'm not going to say nothing foul.
You already did.
I'm not going to go at nobody's character. I'm just going to say,
choose your words carefully.
Think before you speak.
And I say the same thing to you. I say the same thing to you. Think before you speak, because there is another part of this conversation that I'm not sure that you're really taking into consideration. And again, I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I doubt it. Not on this one.
Peace.
Peace to you.
Good morning.
Am I off? Please let me know in the comments. Am I off? Am I off? Am I completely off from what it is that I'm saying when I'm hearing these people make these arguments? Because I'm very, very passionate about how our communities are affected. Am I off?
I'm going to record this, so I'll play it back. So I'll begin early.
This is Russell Simmons.
Not that many people joined my Instagram anyway. A couple of hundred maybe. Let me say this. I was asked to speak about this attack on the Founding Fathers, and in light of it becoming the 50th birthday.
Now it's an attack on the Founding Fathers. Now, listen, they took a small soundbite, and now it's an attack on the Founding Fathers.
Of hip-hop. I figured I'd share something because I was asked from a friend.
What is he doing?
Comments from the DJ Akademiks. I don't know who Akademiks is, but I know that he's popular amongst young people. Let me say this. Hip-hop has been the Founding Fathers without Hollywood and Chiba and Starsky and Kool Herc and Busy Bee and Love Buzz, and without Grandmaster Flash and Grand Wizard Theodore, and without those people, I wouldn't be here. But I was there before there was such thing as records. These are the people who played the parties that Rush Productions promoted. So they are the founding fathers, and they created hip-hop. And no, they didn't all get so much money. But as far as money, hip-hop has been great because it's given people ways to survive, and other people have become extremely rich.
And it's also contributed to the demise of a lot of our communities. As people got rich, they left a lot of people behind, and they left a lot of devastation in their wake. So when you destroy 100 in order to exalt one, or you destroy thousands or even millions in order to exalt one, is it really a great thing just because some people were able to capitalize off of it in a general sense? But neither here nor there.
I mean, I remember working with artists who were the biggest of the big, and some of them are not so wealthy today. I remember signing paperwork for Jay-Z and Kanye West, and they're pretty rich. So I've seen it all. And I was there before rap records, as I said. And I look at hip-hop as a way to empower others. When you get older, maybe, if you get older, Mr. DJ, you will also look at hip-hop that way. Because in the end, life only gives you a comfortable seat. And memories. And my memories of people like the great Grandmaster Flash and his rapper, Melly Mel. Let me see. People in place the bass in the face. You're about to see first place in the rap race. The sounds you hear so good to ear. Have no fear. The great Grandmaster Flash is here. Introducing the disco dream on the mean machine. The Darth Vader on the slide Vader. No one can... Anyway, I can go on forever. Flash. My memories of him are greater than the yachts I got on. Are greater than the trips I took around the world. My memories of the culture exploding. DJ Hollywood. Right now.
Cap. It sounds great. It sounds good. It sounds phenomenal. Cap. Because if you had to pick one or the other, I guarantee you would choose the money and the yachts and the traveling around the world over your memory of man, come on, man. Y'all not gonna sell me. Y'all not gonna finesse me and sell me.
Mama in your neighborhood, yes, once again, it's Hollywood. Watching that stuck in my memory today. I'm 65. Right now, I can remember those things a lot more vividly. They made a much greater impression on my heart than all of the stuff that I got. In fact, I've abandoned most of the stuff because it doesn't make me happy. But
no, because it aged out. It aged out. Right? I don't care anything about the 86 Buick Regal that I bought as soon as I got out of high school or as soon as I got out of high school because it's not relevant to me anymore. Did I have a lot of memories inside of that car and in the back seat? Absolutely. 100%. But it aged out. It don't make you happy now, but it supports your life. Let me just let these older guys tell their truth.
My memories.
You know how the women say, this is my truth. I get it. It doesn't mean that he's wrong. It does not mean that he's wrong. But
hip-hop make me happy. And in fact, they give me a thankfulness, a gratefulness comes from the experiences that I had with these hip-hop artists. LL Cool J and Public Enemy and Slick Rick and De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest and Eric B. and Rakim and Big Daddy Kane and, all of those artists who I work with.
All legends, all phenomenal people. Midnight Marauder, right? One of my favorite albums of all time. Midnight Marauder is one of my favorite albums of all time. Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, Public Enemy, all of these are some of the greatest groups of all time. Let me acknowledge that.
All the way up until Ludacris and Foxy Brown and, all of that. I've seen all that shit. And I'm still here. And I guess I look good. I have this house I built here in Bali and this hotel next door. And I have a talent agency. In fact, I'm still making artist money because I said the work.
You're making yourself money. You making yourself money too. Come on up.
Of a man's career is how many people have you made successful? We made hundreds of people, millionaires, many of them. most of them, so many millionaires, Leo and Cohen, who runs YouTube, and Julie Greenwald, who's the most successful woman in the history of music business, and record label of the year every year, and record executive of the year, Kevin Lyles. These are
who a lot of these people call Leor, and all of these guys. A lot of these people call them some of the scum of the earth. And see, that's the other side of the conversation. A lot of these artists very much hate the people that you elevated to be a part of whatever this culture is. Dame Dash specifically, wait a minute, we don't want to mention Dame Dash, right? Dame Dash specifically started calling these guys culture vultures, didn't he? He started calling them culture vultures, didn't he? He said that these same people was robbing people. We don't want to have that part of the conversation, do we? Huh? We don't want to talk about that? Okay. All right.
people who came from...
Let's just pretend like everything is roses and fine and dandy, and that, you know, we didn't have the East Coast, West Coast beef that was manufactured by these same people that were at the head of a lot of these record companies in order to continue to purge us of our greatness and continue to sell us all of this toxic stuff that enriched hundreds but destroyed millions. Right? Because I know a lot of people that was like, y'all gave us and celebrated the gangs. Gang culture is very much tied into rap culture. Huh? So you saying that y'all made a lot of people millions, but how many lives were affected as a result of what it is that you did and what you promoted? Because if you also want to take responsibility for being a pioneer as far as monetizing what's happening here, are we also responsible for East Coast, West Coast beef? Y'all all it also got a lot of people killed and stomped out.
The root, and my root is DJ Hollywood, Kool Herc, Eddie Chiba. So don't forget your roots, Akademiks. Is that how you pronounce it? Like the clothing brand? Stop it. Just, you know, pause and be grateful for those who came before you, who built your life. I don't know how wealthy you are, how many boats you float on, how many cars you own. How many people have you made rich? How many people have you made successful who have made their families successful? What have you done for the culture, most importantly? I know Kanye's songs, and I know Drake's songs. I don't know you. I know I sound like Stacey Dash. I don't know you nigga at all. I don't know what.
So now they throwing shots. All right, so they throwing shots, right? And listen, the same way that LL was telling the truth on a lot of different things, Russell Simmons is telling the truth also, right? But you see how they throwing these underhanded shots at the same time, right? Like, he's a part of the battle rap culture right now. He's throwing shots. So let me just ask this question as this video is ending. Would it be wrong if Ak, the same way that they throwing shots at Ak, to launch a grenade and a missile back at him? Now, I don't think that Ak would do that because, you know, we have a level of decorum, I think, that you have to maintain in order to make people happy and all of that other type of stuff. But if Ak declared war and used his platform and his following in order to absolutely positively throw a nuke and respond to the way that I would respond to something that somebody said like this, because there are no strings on us. There are no strings on content creators. The only thing that our audience requires of us is to keep it 100. Don't sit here and pander, but say what you really think, good or bad or indifferent. Say what you really think. Now, if Ak take that as a sign of disrespect, is Ak wrong for throwing a nuke on him? That's all I'm asking.
You made. But I wish you well. God bless you, and Hip Hop 50 is coming, so God bless hip hop. And this is the Yankee hat.
So just because you sit with your legs crossed and you say it nicely, and you throw a rock, but then you hide your hands. All right. Okay. You know what? Let's move over into something a little bit better. All right, listen, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I may be off, but I doubt it. I may be off, but I absolutely positively doubt it. Let's end this on a good note because we want to get our Friday started well. Somebody sent me a video of a woman that saved or stacked $300,000 as a part of the FIRE movement. Was in the NYC, was making over $100,000 a year or something like that, and she decided to retire in her early 30s. So I think that this is something that we can look forward to and look into, and break down this video. So I want to end this on a good note because some of these dudes absolutely just be talking out the side of their neck, in my opinion. And again, I could be off, and I'm open to the possibility. So I'm going to check the comments. I want y'all to leave a comment and let me know what's happening. But I doubt it. So let's get into this video, y'all.
I would define my 20s as just being completely financially illiterate. I had this focus on making more money. I thought that more money would solve all of my problems, and I didn't really think much about money management. So I was living in New York City. I was probably spending about $2,000 to $3,000 a month just going out and partying.
She was spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month going out and partying. That's pretty egregious.
Really wasn't paying attention until I discovered the FIRE movement at about 28 years old.
How I quit my job at 33 and moved to Cincinnati, Ohio with $300,000. Okay, let's get into it, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Link is in the description. Tap into the Patreon. Let me move up. She worked in consumer goods before she learned about FIRE. Okay. She was making $135,000 a year.
I would say I had a typical workaholic schedule because I was so focused on my income.
What does it feel like to be 33 and partially retired? I can't imagine it. Maybe it's just because I'm a workaholic, but I'm not sure what it feels like to be 33 and partially retired.
Because I thought that was the only thing that was important when it comes to money. I was focused on my career, focused on climbing the ladder.
That sounds about normal. $30,000 in credit card debt and student loan debt.
My initial goal was to get out of debt. I don't think I had the ambitions of retiring early and using everything I was learning for that. I just didn't really know what the future held. I just knew that I wanted to get out of debt. When I discovered the FIRE movement, it felt like this refreshing punch in the face because
first and foremost, are they parked on the grass? Are they parked on the grass? Anyways, the thing about money is that the more that you understand about it, the more responsible you become with it. And so it's similar to what she was just saying. And she's absolutely right, right? And that the initial goal was just to get out of debt. But usually what happens with most people is that it does not stop there, right? You continue to evolve, you continue to grow, and then it changes from getting out of the debt to, man, I want to start having a significant amount of a nest egg, to I want to start becoming a more investor. And so this is similar to what I tell people about growth, right? Your purpose is not defined by what you identify as what you want to do. Your purpose is revealed to you through the work. And so as you continue to evolve and as you continue to grow and as you continue to, to get better at what it is that you do, and this is why it's important for you to continue to work, because when you continue to work, you continue to grow and you continue to learn, because you then become inspired by the things that you've already solved and accomplished for, right? And so once you get out of debt, then it's like, but wait a minute, I can have money too. I don't have to just not be out of debt, right? Greatness begets greatness, which is why you want to continue to be around great people, because they'll inspire you to become better and push yourself to be more successful.
What I realized is the opportunity around money and creating options for myself.
All right.
When I really started to make a change was when I had this desire to walk the Camino in Spain. I found myself, in my late 20s. I had no man, no kids, and I just felt like I had the kind of freedom that people dream of, and I was wasting this opportunity. But I had this issue of being 30 grand of.
So was the man that was in that, wasn't it a man? Let me rewind this a little bit. Thought it was a man somewhere in there. Yeah, it is a man in there. All right. So I guess, is this her new man? I'm guessing this is her new man. All right.
And I just felt like I had the kind of freedom that people dream of, and I was wasting this opportunity. But I had this issue of being 30 grand of debt and needing to kind of clean up my finances to enable me to go on that trip. So that's when I really started to do some digging.
Wait a minute. Is the stand for the computer Under Armour shoebox? Listen, I don't want to be that minimal. I just genuinely don't. And this is just me. And I understand that everybody can choose to live the way that they want to live, but I'm not interested in putting my computer on a Under Armour shoebox and do my work from there. Like I'm moving into being a little bit more of a minimalist. Maybe not. I'm struggling with it a little bit, but that's too much fire movement for me.
I had been targeting a 60% savings rate. Some months I would hit it, other months I wouldn't hit it, but 60%? On average over the course of a year, I was really shooting for that 60% savings rate. It took me about 11 months to get out of debt. I really started the process in...
It only took her 11 months to get out of $30,000 in student loan debt. And we don't know what other consumer debt that she had, but it only took her 30 months. Oh, what's she say? It only took her, let me rewind that, because I might have missed it a little bit.
Savings rate. It took me about 11
months to remove all of her consumer debt, including the $30,000 in student loans. Which means that if you guys are sitting here with a bunch of consumer debt, the only thing that you have to do is adjust your lifestyle, which would then change your life, because then you will no longer be giving the servicers of the loans all of your money in order to be able to survive.
Months to get out of
or
debt.
Maintain
I really
a lifestyle.
Started the process in, I think it was September of 2015, and I actually know the exact date was August 16th of 2016 is when I got
That's
out
pretty
of debt.
good. That's pretty awesome. Is that the Under Armour shoes, the box that she's using for her computer stand?
I was in an apartment. I was tied to a lease, so I couldn't really do anything about my housing at the moment. I didn't have a car. I was using public transportation, and I was really optimizing as best I could.
Which is one of the reasons why she was spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
What I focused on
partying.
was food and not going out so much. I started cooking every meal that I ate, started bringing lunch to work every day. The way I was able to do this without it feeling like such a lifestyle.
No. I'm sorry, ma'am. Please don't feed the dog while you cooking, because that's germs on your hands. This is why I don't eat everybody's food. Listen, of all the things that you can bring me and show up to the Patreon meetups, shout out to my bag chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Of all the things that you can show up with, please just don't show up with a home cooked meal. And I say this because it's a lot of adopting of animals as pets and buying dogs, and y'all got a lot of cats and cat hairs everywhere. And I'm not even sure if you washed your hands prior to bringing your meal or cooking your meal, and then you give it to the dog, and then you kiss him, and then you lick your hands, and then you start, putting all of the seasons and trying to mix it up inside of the ground beef. Please, Freaky Jason, do not bring me anything from your house, because I have no clue of what I'm getting into, and I don't want to take a bite of it. Oh God, this is good. The meanwhile, then it could very much be good. It could be tasty, but I don't know if it's some dog saliva in that. That's why I don't eat everybody's food, because look, you see what she just did? Let me rewind it a little bit. Look at what she about to do. Look at that good fresh lettuce.
Without it feeling like such.
Let us pray. Let us pray. Not feeding the dog while you cooking. So y'all don't be looking at what's really going on behind the scenes. I know this is supposed to be about the fire movement and getting out of debt and stuff, but Jesus Christ, my goodness.
A lifestyle shock or deprivation is that I replaced the gratification I was getting from going out with my friends with creativity in other ways to spend time with my friends. So I would host.
But she is absolutely right. Everything that you do don't have to cost money. As a matter of fact, it's not the activity that you do that defines whether or not you're having fun. It's you and the people that you are with. You can make your own fun. You can go and walk in the park. During the pandemic, I used to go hiking, and I would meet up with people that I've never met before, and I had some of the best conversations and built some of the greatest friendships that I've ever had in my entire life. It doesn't have to cost money for you to go out and have fun.
These elaborate dinner parties, or I would host clothing exchanges with my friends. So not only was I able to reduce my expenses, I think there was a lot of personal development that went along with it, and a change in mindset around money that helped the
I wonder if the dog licked the top of the olive oil too.
Process feel a lot more fun and rewarding. I had achieved this goal of walking the Camino, and after getting out of debt and achieving this high savings rate, and I really had this plan laid out to reach financial independence by 40 years old, and that's when I would quit working my W-2 job. And after 9 years with my last employer, the dynamic simply changed in my last year there. I ended up getting a new boss. This new boss was holding me to a much higher standard than my male colleagues, and I was the only female on the team. And
oh yeah, nothing like inspiring a modern woman to quit by saying that I'm the only woman here and you're holding me to a higher standard than my male colleagues. It all comes out. So it wasn't that she wanted to necessarily quit her job or move on as a result of what it is that she had in her bank account. It was that she made the adjustment with what she had simply because she didn't want to be held to this higher standard or be held accountable to whatever it is that this boss was saying to her. And how do you know what the standard was of your male colleagues? Yeah, the truth is coming out. Okay, baby girl.
What I realized is that I need to start letting my money protect me. But once it became clear that they no longer valued me, I decided to leave.
Or you were pushed out. When
I was making this decision to leave my job, I realized that I was coast-fi. So what that meant was that I had enough in my retirement vehicles that it would grow through the power of compound interest to what I need for traditional retirement without contributing.
Listen, I know this is probably the healthiest way to do it, but I don't see anything on that except for, what is that? It clearly ain't romaine, right? Lettuce and whatever the dressing is. Now, I know that this is the healthiest way to do it. I don't see any eggs on that thing. I don't see no croutons. I don't see nothing on there. I don't see nothing as far as all of the fixings that would make that. All right, listen, that's just me being greedy. Okay, I get it.
$1 more to it. Essentially, all I need to do is meet my monthly and yearly expenses. I really don't need to save anymore. It's almost like I front-loaded my retirement savings.
She's right.
And once I hit coast-fi status, I don't need to worry about traditional retirement anymore. And so I moved from New York City to Cincinnati, much lower cost of living. I had a friend. I knew her for about 5 years in New York City, and she moved back to Cincinnati, which is where she went to college. And I visited her like 3 times in 2016, and I just liked it. So
now, the caveat to that is lifestyle, right? Because she's absolutely right. And this is what people don't understand and why it's important for you to contribute to your retirement. And more importantly, let me say it like this, and I say this to my Patreon members all the time. Stand down for the first 5 to 10 years and putting yourself in a position of power instead of living the lifestyle, right? Now, if you want to work for an extended period of time where you enjoy or you love what you do, which I believe that I'll work to the day that I die, simply because I think that a man's purpose is to work. And I think that there's extreme value that comes from being productive and adding and contributing to society. The thing about it is, if you stay down early enough, you no longer have to worry about the amount of money that you need in order to survive, because the power of compound interest is real, meaning that your money then make money for you so that you don't have to depend on going out and getting resources in order to survive. Now, if you want to live in a specific place or maintain a lifestyle, so on and so forth, that's an additional factor that you need to take into consideration when you getting this life together. But me personally, I don't want to live in a hidden city and get away from the lifestyle. I like going and living in Miami in the winter. I like doing it, or I like the cars that come along with it. Now, again, you as individuals have to figure out what lifestyle you want to maintain. But I love working. I love being in the middle of things. I love getting out and participating. And I don't want to retire, semi-retire, partially retire. I did that in 2019. Literally, I quit my job. I got out of the restaurant business. I had enough money to be able to sustain me for the rest of my life. I had already gotten rich. I did that in 2019, right before the pandemic. I was bored out of my mind. I said, yo, let's go live in Miami. Let's go and work. Me and JR, we was, cooking up when it came to the Lapive Network. I started some more new businesses. I still had another business that I was already rocking with. And so this is me, right? And I think that a lot of people need to take inventory of who they are. If you're working to retire, I think that you are doing yourself a disservice, because even people that retire often at times have to figure out what that life looks like. And now that they're replacing that additional time that they have in that day, how are they going to be fulfilled?
I went from paying $1,800 a month for a cockroach-infested apartment in Brooklyn.
A cockroach-infested, see, tag me out, coach. Tag me out, coach, because again, yo, TMI, too much information. You paying $1,800 a month for a cockroach-infested building in Brooklyn. Tag me out, coach. Take me out of the ball game. I don't want to be bothered with it. You're not going to have no little critters running up and down my walls. I'm straight. I am good.
To paying now a $600 mortgage in like the nicest place I've ever lived. I'm spending
Tag me out, coach.
About $2,000 a month. So I went from not having much to about 6 years later having about $300,000 in my investments. And that was really driven by prioritizing my retirement vehicles. So I was fully funding my 401k. I was fully funding.
All right, let me break this down. Let's see what we got here. We got a health savings account at $16,700. Roth IRA, which you can contribute roughly $6,000 a year if you're single, $12,000 if you're married. I'm assuming that they're going to raise that price based off of inflation next year. The brokerage account. What do I tell y'all to put y'all money? She literally is doing the blueprint. She must be in the Patreon, because this is exactly what it is that I tell y'all to do, except I don't do a traditional IRA. I do a Roth 401k that is then funded by the employer, so on and so forth. But she got a brokerage account, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, which is an individual retirement account, and then she got her health savings account. This is pretty good. I don't think it's enough for me personally. Like, it look a little scarce for me to be partially retired, but she's literally giving you the blueprint that I give y'all on a daily basis on this channel.
My Roth IRA, and I was fully funding my HSA, which amounted to just about $29,000 a year. And then any surplus, I was putting in an after-tax brokerage.
So see how she feeding the dog?
Quitting my job last year, what my days look like now, it's very different every day. The main way I bring in income is I'm a podcaster. So I host a show called Optimal Finance Daily, where I am reading articles from personal finance bloggers every single day of the week in about 10 minutes or less. That plus another daily show I do where I'm actually reading horoscopes brings in about $3,000 a month.
Really?
It's about an hour and a half of work every day, but I...
Hold on, wait. Hold on, Freaky Jason. When I tell y'all that there's more than one way to skin a cat, she's literally giving you the blueprint to do it. We all think, and I'm not saying me in particular, but a lot of people all think that they got to do everything the same type of way. There are people that are reading horoscopes and making $3,000 for reading horoscopes in their closet. right there next to their coat that they're going to be wearing in the winter. They bubble coat. You know, the bubble coat is the white woman winter starter pack. That black bubble coat. Rita got one. It's the white woman starter pack. That black bubble coat. Every last mother that be at these games or be at parent teacher conference in the wintertime, all of them got that same bubble coat. I kid you not.
Do batch recording, so I kind of will like record a bunch in one day. And I think that's another real benefit to pursuing financial independence and having this kind of bandwidth of money is that it enabled me to take a big risk on creating something I really wanted to see in the world without any real pressure for it to provide for my livelihood. There are moments that I miss my six-figure salary.
We know.
When I had such a big
You're not gonna finesse me.
rate of 60%, I didn't really have to worry so much if like a big
Look at her. She got her a man too. And on top of that, she got a man.
expense came out of nowhere. My savings rate would just be less that month. It's the feast and famine of self-employment and entrepreneurship. I think most people that pursue FI, it's not so much about quitting work. Most of us like work in some capacity. We want to feel useful. We want to contribute to the world. I think pursuing FI is much more about separating your finances from your work and not having to be, you know, dependent on your work for your livelihood.
I wonder what he do for a living.
I have
See, I don't want to drive the little Mazda. I don't want to do that. That's just me personally. I don't want to do that.
really embraced the uncertainty around my future path. I'm still pursuing FI. I'm still saving money because I'm still living below my means. And I will reach FI eventually. Maybe I'll still reach it at 40. Maybe I'll reach it after 40.
Yeah, that's nice. That's cute and that's inspiring. But again, you have to take inventory of your life and what it is that you're looking to do and how it is that you're supposed to live it. So listen, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in and tapping in. Again, I'm always going to make sure that y'all get what y'all need in order to be successful. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for everybody that's holding me down. Thank you for everybody that's contributed to the platform. But more importantly, I need y'all to tap into the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tap into the Patreon so that we can get this work popping. And we can get it get everything, continue to push you to the best version of yourself. I'm dropping a Patreon exclusive video today. So that should be up. And then I want y'all to make sure that y'all don't fumble on this weekend. We doing Fight Club tonight. Tap in. We getting it popping. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. But I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love y'all. I think that y'all are awesome. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.